what it takes? Would you better own it? Everybody wanna win, but do you got what it takes? Everybody wanna win, everybody can't do. I'm zoned. Everybody wanna win, but do you got what it takes? Everybody wanna win, but do you got what it takes? Would you better own it? Everybody wanna win, but do you got what it takes? Everybody wanna win, everybody can't do.
Welcome to the Coach Stretch Show.
What up, what up, what up? It's your man, Coach Stretch, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Stat and AJT. We got an amazing for you all this evening. We want to welcome in our viewing audience on Facebook and YouTube. Hey, Stat, we got a heavy one today, man. We got a heavy one.
We do. Let's get to it.
A lot to talk about.
Yeah,
we got the NBA Finals. We got we got a world news update with our president and hacking and all that stuff. We got that. We also have NBA trade frenzy. We have a relationship segment as well. Correct, Stats?
I guess so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But before we get to all that, we have a special guest. We have Miss Simone Dreher of Dreams of Hope Foundation, and she's going to be telling everybody what that is and what the focus of her foundation is. And it's very, very important, especially for the residents of Newport News and Hampton. We have to start bringing more attention to the people, as I say, the people who put boots on the ground, the people who are doing the hard work, the laborers, the laborers that are doing everything that can possibly be done to help those in need. And we definitely want to bring attention to Dreams of Hope Foundation. But before we get to that, Stats, you got any shout outs?
God, Bree, Mom, you, Damo, the Council, Brotherhood Hoop League, Neptunes, Relentless.
Yes, sir.
Lincoln Heritage.
Yes, sir.
Peace and love to everybody, man. I'm thankful. Glad to be here.
Well, yes. I also, man, would like to shout out Relentless Sports, all my people. I made a post today, again, trying to acknowledge the people who put boots on the ground. Shout out to all my coaches who've been down. Shout out to all the volunteers that I've had. Shout out to my lovely wife who put up with me and all my madness. I know again, you and my wife, man, y'all put up with me the most. So I appreciate you for doing that. Shout out to all my kids. Got kids at Water Country doing their thing. Hey, look, man, I'm just proud. I'm proud. It's a good day, and we're gonna help some people tonight. I feel it in my spirit. We're gonna help some people tonight. So before we go any further, let us bring on the program the lovely Mrs. Simone Dreher.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
How are you?
I'm good. Glad to be here. Thank you for the opportunity to share our story and the work that we do.
Now, do you have any shout outs before we get started?
Yeah, I can shout out my husband, Coy, who helped me to start the foundation back in 2012.
Okay.
My kids, God, for allowing us to do the work and to use us in this community, and just all the hard work that we do. Yeah, just grateful.
I love it. Shout out to Mr. Dreher, man. I loved when he was bringing B to the gym, and he said, "Coach, I'm gonna try to stay out your way, but I don't know. I can't make no promises." So he'll come in,
No,
he'll
he
drop
really
ball,
tries.
and then I'll look behind me, and he'd be like right there behind the mirror looking.
Yeah.
I love it. But that's what we need, though. That's what we need. We need active fathers constantly just pushing. And I love it, man. I love your family, man. You guys are outstanding people.
Thank you.
Daughter, son, husband. You guys are all outstanding. So let's get into what Dreams of Hope Foundation is. Tell everybody
Dream,
who's watching what this foundation is all about.
Dreams of Hope is a local nonprofit here in Newport News, founded in 2012 by Coy and myself. Originally, our ideal goal was to help the family unit stay together. I don't know if most people know that we don't have a year-round shelter in Newport News or Hampton. That's something that's lacking. And so we have something that's called port during the colder months. So probably
Yes.
about 12 to 15 months where the shelter rotates from different churches in the area. And the homeless will go to stay out of the elements.
Right.
However, like today, it's not cold, but it's hot, right?
Yeah.
And so the city does have the day shelter, which is directly across the street from us, from where we're located on Ward, but they close at 5 o'clock. So like when I was leaving, we were leaving work this evening after 6. There are people between 75th Street and Ward laying out on the ground. It's still hot outside, extremely hot. And these people are still laying in the elements. We don't have someplace for them to go in the evenings. Fort Oaks opens at 8 and closes promptly at 5 o'clock. And so
Wait a
if
minute.
they're
Oh my God. Mm. I don't. Okay, so I remember a few years back that they closed a shelter, but I always assumed that they would, start a new one or,
so we have a
something.
day shelter. It's a day shelter where resources are supposed to be available to the homeless, people that need services.
Yeah.
Um, and it takes a special type of people to deal with this population.
Right.
And so, I don't want to knock what we have,
Correct.
right? But there's a lot more that needs to be done. We have the union mission, which only takes a certain number of people. And then since COVID, they have shortened the length of stay. So before you could stay maybe, I think like a month, but now we're down to maybe a week or 2 weeks at a time. And then you have to wait a month before you can go back if you got 2 weeks. So homelessness is a serious issue between Hampton and Newport. I think all over, right? But
Right.
in Hampton and Newport News, we have shelters that are available if it's domestic, like domestic
Okay.
violence is involved. But of course, the beds are limited, the number of
Correct.
people that can be housed at a time. So
Right.
when Coy and I started Dreams of Hope, we wanted to create a shelter program that will allow the family unit to stay together. Because currently, if you have a mom and kids, they can go to a shelter. So let's say, for instance, Coy, our family was homeless,
Okay.
and there was a place for if we were to go to a shelter. Currently, in this moment, there is no place that would take the whole family unit, husband, wife, and children. They would separate the mom and the children to go one place. And then if he could get a bed at the mission, then he would stay at the mission, but the family unit is not together. So when we created Dreams of Hope, our idea was to keep the family unit together.
Correct.
That was initially. Moving forward down the road, life happens. I went back to school. Coy went back to school. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. He is working in his residency to become a therapist as well. So we're dealing with mental health. We know
Yeah.
dealing with the homeless population, a lot of things, homelessness, generational, like poverty,
Yeah.
systemic issues. A lot of that has to do with mental health. So that was one of our ways of saying we need to get educated to be able to address these problems in terms as a whole to help our people. The other part to it is that after navigating this, there's a lot of, from my experience of, I used to work at the Salvation Army. I've worked at other nonprofits. I've worked with mental health agencies. There's a lot of red tape that you have to go to even try and get, funding for a
Yeah.
shelter. Then you have to get codes to clear it, the location of the shelter. It's a lot that goes into it and being able to sustain it. So our first business was a medical transportation business. And once we would pick people up from dialysis, there were people that wouldn't have coats in the winter. They wouldn't have food. People come from dialysis, they'll be weak, needed food. So we used to pack stuff up in the back of the vans and just have things readily available for the people that we would transport.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hence the development of adding more services to the nonprofit that we started. So we have a food pantry. We get food from the food bank. We get things from Wawa, the end of the day stuff, and other
Yeah.
places that distribute food or give us food to distribute. And then we have an extensive clothing closet. We assist with people that need assistance with copays for medications, if they
Okay.
need specifically psychotropic medication. So if somebody needs their medicine to remain stable on their mentally stable, we would help to pay for the copays for that. We assist people with applying for Medicaid and navigating through that process, or just really providing resources that insurance would not cover.
Right.
Toiletries, we provide toiletries, toothbrushes, toilet paper. Food stamps don't cover that.
Right.
Just basic essentials that people would need. So hence the nonprofit has evolved over the years. But here recently, within the last 3 weeks, the first family that I had contact with, I think I made a post about 2 weeks ago. A mom of 4 that was sleeping in the car. 3 of the 4 kids are disabled, and they had nowhere to go. They have exhausted everything, and so it was. My heart broke because literally that day, if I could be vulnerable and transparent, I closed the
Absolutely.
door after I told her that I had nothing else. After I fed them a hot meal when they came, they ate, we talked. I went through like, did you do this? Have you talked to this person, done this, blah, blah, blah. And it was like, yep, did that, did this, boom, boom, boom. And we didn't have the funds to put her in a hotel room.
Right.
Because we're barely struggling to keep the lights on for the, and
Yeah.
she left out the door, and I closed my office door and literally fell to the floor and was sobbing. I was broken. Probably I can count 3 or 4 times in my almost 20 years of doing this where I felt completely hopeless and just broken that I could not provide more to this family. And then here comes Monday this week.
Right. All right.
And we're back at it again. Mom who has 2 kids. This time, this mom doesn't have a car. So she just has nowhere to go. And she was running from a domestic situation in particular. And she's like, what am I supposed to do? If I'm out here, he might see me.
Right.
Where am I supposed to go? And I'm like, this is a lot bigger. And within the last couple of weeks, Straw came out, the movie,
Right.
On the Tyler Perry movie. And, people have gone back and forth as though it's an exaggeration of what people go through. But day in and day out, right here in Newport News,
You seeing it.
we're seeing it. And it could just take one thing, right? Because somebody might not be, they might be struggling with a little bit of depression, anxiety, but it's not to the point where it's exacerbated, it's really bad. We've been coping. We find our different ways to cope, whether it's
Right.
self-medicating, whatever. But it could be just that one thing that could just push you over the edge.
Yeah.
And then the movie Straw becomes a reality.
Yeah. So, quick question for you.
Sure.
When you come across these individuals, like you said, like you close the door and like there was nothing else that you could do. How does that, what toll does that take on you? Like personally, like what?
You want me to be honest?
Like,
my husband texted
yeah.
me. He was like, "Yo, you are not capable of seeing anybody in the condition you are in right now." Like,
Right.
what? Like, but that hit hard, right?
Right.
And if I'll be transparent. Like, part of the story of developing and being able to meet people where they are is having to go through that struggle yourself, right?
Correct. Yep.
You can. We've been there. When I tell people this, Coy and I have been there. I remember being pregnant at Hampton University campus. I was a sophomore. He was probably like an E2 or E3 in the Navy. We weren't married. And I remember going to social services in Hampton and being like, I'm applying for food stamps. Like, I just need help. I need to get through my degree and I'll find me a job. And I was waitressing at the time, and the system was not helping. Like, the lady literally told me, I'm $10 over my limit, and the limit in order to qualify. And she was like, either two things have to happen. You either need to quit your job or you need to drop out of school.
What a choice.
That's insane.
That's insane.
That's
But you know
And
what?
I remember having this conversation and saying, man, this is not something I'm planning on doing long term, right? This is just for the time that I need to get by until I'm finished. But quitting my job and dropping out of school, like, what? This don't make no sense. And I remember walking out of social services on LaSalle in Hampton.
Yeah.
Like, just, this is nuts. And so having to experience that and being hungry, and I tell people this all the time. I remember crying being pregnant with Kayla 19 years ago. And there was a Burger King outside of Hampton University campus. I was staying in the Harbors. And I was crying because I was hungry. And Coy literally had to go in the Tahoe, and he was up under the seats looking. It was $1.10 for a junior Whopper. With the change out of the Tahoe, walked over to Burger King, got the burger, and we split the burger.
Wow.
But he was in the military at the time. That struggle, right? And then fast forward to when we became we were trying to become entrepreneurs, and I was pregnant with I was pregnant with Ashton, and having to apply for food stamps and apply for Medicaid. And I'm working with this population. So part of what Dreams of Hope does is I don't want to verify your income, because I know what it is. Even if I verify your income, you could be a flat tire away from not having something to eat.
Yeah, we talked about that before we came on. Right.
So if you are hungry, come get some food. You need food. The summer is out. The kids are out of school and they eating everything up in the fridge, right?
Yeah.
So you might need extra groceries to kind of get you through to make it stretch. We all know what that feels like.
Right.
But some kids only go to school to eat because at home they don't have anything, right? So we tried to remove the red tape. Part of what we did this year was we started the Sidewalk Food Pantry, where we partnered with Newport News Public Schools, and we did five schools throughout the city. And each week we rotated from the schools, but we brought the food pantry to the school. The neighborhood, people in the neighborhood, anybody could just come and get food. But that eliminates the barrier for transportation. It eliminates all the red tape for them, you know what I'm saying? Just come get the food.
Right.
It's there.
Right.
Anywhere between 7 to 10,000 pounds of food a week we were giving out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell the people. I'm sorry, Stash. You got a question before I jump?
Yeah. So first of all, Simone, it takes a special person with empathy to do what you and your husband are doing. So
Absolutely.
I want to, thank you for that. You have to be blessed from above with that kind of empathy. I do wonder though, about the homeless shelters. Why are they closing? Because I remember in my neighborhood there was a homeless shelter a long time ago, not my current neighborhood, but where my mom lives, and there was a homeless shelter on 25th Street, and that's been closed for a while. Like, why are they closing? Yeah, 25th Street.
I think the hard part about and people would, we can argue this, because so here's the cool part of this. My sister works, well, she's an urban planner. She was the director of like urban development in Tampa, and we used to argue about zoning and buildings. People don't want shelters in the middle of their neighborhood. People don't, they think it's going to bring the value down of it. People, it's a necessity. So you'll have to find the right location, that it's not going to be an eyesore to the community. And the developments that we're trying to do to improve the community. I get all that. I argue with my sister back and forth. It's like, so one example was there was a shelter that they closed down in one part of the city and they moved it to another part, but then they had a fence around it and they had no trespassing signs. And she was saying, she was driving by and we were on the phone and she was like, oh, there's a homeless person outside of this place. Let me call the police. And I'm like, why are you calling the police? He just knows that that's where the shelter is, right? That's where he's familiar with. If you move this shelter across town, how is he going to get there? Like, right. How is he supposed to know? But you don't want people hanging outside of your place of business. You don't want people sleeping out. It's an eyesore. You don't want sleeping on the main road. So it's going to come with a lot of planning. I'm not familiar with the shelter you were talking about in that neighborhood, but it could be a number of reasons why the shelter would close. Part of what I think most is that people don't want the eyesores in the location. You have to find like the right location. Then you have to have the right people running it so that it can be controlled. And you don't want it to look like a shelter on the outside, right? You want it to be welcoming, but you don't want to be a bother to your neighbors. And so part of my issue, we're directly across the street from Four Oaks. I welcome the homeless people to sleep in the back of my building. On the side, I give them blankets when it's cold outside. I would give them water. I would feed them. Just clean up after yourself. That's all I ask for you. The trash can is right here. Walk down to the back of the yard and put the stuff in the trash can. But then when you have people that are defecating on the property, and I've done it. Somebody had defecated right outside where I park. I stepped in it, didn't even know what it was. I didn't even know I did it until I walked all the way to my desk and I sat down and I was like, what is that smell? Brand new sneakers. And it was feces on the bottom of my shoes. Had to throw away the rug in my office. I just threw the sneakers away. I was like, I ain't even gonna clean these. Yeah. But we have to be nice to our neighbors, and it's hard when people are going through hard things for them to even consider other people, right? So I think that's one of the reasons why. But I think the location of placing a shelter is the most difficult part. I would love to, it's a dream of mine to find a solution to this because it's needed. Our city, at Newport News, Hampton, we don't have a year-round shelter, and it's getting worse. And I think with the current administration that we have, it's just even going to get
worse.
Intensified. It's going to get worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Here's a question, because we want to inform people, but we also need to attempt to come up with some form of solution
Yeah.
to get the ball rolling in the right direction. So, what would be, if you could prioritize the top three things? What would be the top three things that Dreams of Hope Foundation need to assist and start changing things in the right direction?
The top thing that we would need, honestly, like for these last two, the foundation didn't have money for the last one. I paid out of my pocket for the shelter that we provided for the first family. And then I tapped into other resources of just calling people for donations to help to cover the cost of a hotel. But a hotel is a band-aid fix, right?
Yeah,
That's not
yeah,
long term. We can't put people in hotels every time they say that they're homeless. Just funding, I think part of it is vetting the homeless, or trying to figure out like funding one, but
yeah.
trying to figure out what the solution is for that particular family and what could make it easier, or even trying to funding to keep people in their houses, because if they're there and we just need to help with rent or something just to meet that gap so you don't get evicted, right?
Right,
That would help.
right.
Toiletries is another thing that we need assistance with. And then definitely we need volunteers to help organize our clothing closet. Because we have a lot of clothes we need to sort, and we need to organize our clothing closet. Those are the top three things. Oh, Coach Starks. Hi.
Coach Starks. Yeah, love to have you on, Coach. Absolutely.
What's up, Coach?
She said a small portion of the city taxes allocated towards shelters. We do it for road pavements. I think that's a great idea, Coach. And
Yeah,
I don't know if most people
I think
know,
that
Coach
is
Starks
okay.
was a social worker. Did you know that?
I did
He
not
was at
know that.
VSW.
I did not know that.
Hey, Coach Starks. Yeah, that's our connection. Um,
Coach
but yeah,
Starks
I
is an
think those are
awesome
the,
woman.
she is the top. That would be my funding, toiletries, and volunteers to organize the clothes and get it out. We are going to we're going to do several pop-ups since school is out. We're going to do several pop-ups with the pantry at the office, so people can come and get food. So I'll be sure to share that with you so you can get it out to your
Please
viewers
do.
and we can
Yeah, please do.
let people come by and get food. But
Yeah,
housing is a bigger thing. I know that the city did do like a housing study, and I'm waiting for them to share that because I'm very interested in it. And I think just collaboration with other organizations in the city of what our solutions would be. I have an idea. I have some ideas that I need to get with city council to be able to see if we can make some progress with that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but I do know one thing. As you were sitting here talking, man, I thought of a few things that we can do, that we can partner together to do, and
Sure.
between Relentless Force and Dreams of Hope Foundation, I think we can, kind of push things in the right direction. So, definitely next week, well, maybe after the holiday, with me and you and your husband, we can sit down and talk and plan
Yeah.
a couple things. And because again, all the kids and parents that I have in my program, this is a serious issue. Like, and I do have a couple parents, well, not necessarily parents anymore, but I have a kid, man, that's been moved from house to house because of certain situations, and
Right.
it's not behavioral. It's not like he's a bad kid.
Right.
Mom lost her job. She's now homeless. She moves to another state for employment. He stays with grandma. Grandma is housing all these other people. You see what I'm saying? And like, I feed him.
Right, but
people
it
don't know
takes a
this.
village. Right, it takes a
Right,
village, and I think
right,
it takes a community for us to speak. And I've shared this with other
right,
coaches, even for like afternoon snacks and stuff. But if you have extra mouths to feed, don't before you go buy anything.
right,
We are literally a phone call away. We have it. Like even if you have to say, "Hey, I got an extra workout session. You got apples or oranges." You know what I'm saying?
right,
Snacks, granola bars, that type of stuff. Because you could take the money that you would spend on that, where we have access
right.
to it from the food. It's just there to serve. Or even if somebody needs a pair of sneakers or clothes or pants, I might not have the
Yeah,
staff to
yeah,
go downstairs and pull it, but I could say, "Hey, I'll open the door. You could go down in the basement and tumble through all the clothes that's down there and pull it." Right?
right,
We just need to get the word out there, and then we need to work together. So like you said,
correct.
that young man would not, it's not a behavioral issue, it's just circumstances. And that was what broke my
Yep,
heart with these two cases, was the children don't deserve to live like that or suffer in that manner. And so we just need to do what we need to do to help create some type of normalcy, or at least have something to eat.
Mm.
Nobody should be hungry in America.
I agree.
And so
I agree.
we're here to serve the community. We're here to help. I know a lot of people commented on my post, like, what can we do to help? And I'm going to create a volunteer thing so we can just start getting, and the hard part for me is
Yes,
I just do the work. I typically don't, I don't have we don't have people managing our social media or being able to put the stuff out there to say volunteers needed for this. We just get it done. And
you just
sometimes
keep doing.
I'm not even thinking about, hey, what organization can I call on today to help us do this? You know what I'm saying? It's just like it gotta get
Yeah.
done. We gotta get it done.
Well, you can call on us, and we're gonna be there. So,
Thank you.
We got your back.
before you get out of here, we definitely got your back, man. And before we get you out of here, for any people who are watching, and again, I'm going to post this again tomorrow as well. You would like to volunteer to help out the Dreams of Hope Foundation, you can go to their website, www.dreamsofhopefoundation.org. If you'd like to donate, the same website, /donate. And if you would like to volunteer, please contact the lovely Mrs. Simone Dreher at sdreher, that's SDREHER, at dreamsofhopefoundation.org. And like you said, it takes a village, and the village is here. The village needs to be awoken. What is it? Woke? Awaken? I don't know.
Awaken.
The village need to do something. Somebody ring the
They need
alarm.
to get
the
up
village
and
going.
get in and get it going. And here's the thing: if you need help, reach out. Right?
Yes,
We
absolutely. If you need
focus
help.
on mental health, and we are here to provide the support. And if we can, or if I can, I will definitely try and connect you with somebody that can help you. There's no shame in the game at asking for help,
That's all.
because we all needed it once
Yes,
upon a
we do.
yeah.
Yeah. And
Thank
a lot
you
of us
for
still
having
do need
me.
it. So please do not hesitate to ask. Please do not hesitate to ask. Any final words before we get you out of here?
Yeah, thanks for having us. Yeah. Don't think that straw was far-fetched.
Now that's stretch. Talk to stretch. Talk to stretch about that.
I saw your post.
Talk to
I know.
stretch.
I'm guilty as charged. Look, I'm getting. See, the thing about
And
me,
I was
and
like,
what
oh,
most
look,
men,
he reached out. Okay, Stretch, let's talk about this.
Hey, look, the thing about me is that I can admit when I may be on the wrong side of things, and I will try to make it right. So
Right.
when I saw your post this morning, I was like, man, I may have gotten that wrong.
Actually, here's the reality to it. I actually gave that baby a bath in our office sink yesterday.
Wow. Wow.
And that's the things that social workers do. It was just, I was just, you want a clean baby, and she slept.
Yeah.
But just know that untreated or compounded trauma can lead to somebody snapping like that, and that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
told Stretch that, and he just laughed at me.
Well, I have vitriol for Tyler Perry, but again, like I said, the storyline was absolutely correct, and I just, that's just my beef with the man. So that's just my beef, and I probably again was on the wrong side of that, which is why I made it a point to get you here.
I appreciate you.
Simone, what was your post? I didn't see it. What was your post?
So basically, that my day started at 7:00 yesterday, and I'll just read it to you. It says, "My day started at 7, and y'all think that Straw the movie was exaggerated. Let me be clear. That wasn't a scene from a Tyler Perry script. It was real life in Newport News. It ended with a call at 10:58 p.m. about this family. Another mother, 2 babies, nowhere to go. She showed up in the heat, trying to hold it all together. And when I say it was hot yesterday, I mean the kind of hot that leaves you desperate for relief. So I did what I could. I bathed her baby right here in my office just to cool down. She laid on me, wet, tired, and finally calm, and went right to sleep, because for one moment she wasn't in survival mode. She was just being a child. She was just a child being held. We cry for characters on a screen, but what about the mothers right here? The babies sleeping in back seats, fathers breaking in silence. Straw isn't fictional, it's reality. This is what I see every day. This is why I keep going, but I can't do it alone. Don't just be moved by the movie, be moved to act." And I posted a picture of me holding, where's the thing? Where's the camera? Oh, me holding the baby in the office last night.
That's a bar. Don't be moved by the movie, move to act. That's a bar.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
That's a bar.
So yeah, Stretch, I appreciate you recognizing that.
Yeah.
Because it's happening right here, day in and day out. We normally, social workers, this is what we do. We just do the work. We normally don't post about it. We don't talk about it.
Right. You just do it.
And it's hard, but you just do it. But I had to make it, because it's not only you. You weren't the only person that was talking about the movie Straw, but it's real life. It's happening right here.
Yeah. So yeah, I definitely appreciate you coming on, and I definitely commend you and appreciate you for the work that you're doing for the community. And as soon as we get out of this holiday break, me, you and your husband, and I'll invite this guy over here too. We'll sit down and we'll we'll come up with a few programs. And like I said, Relentless Sports is here to support you guys. So if you're having an event, you having something going on, don't be afraid to pick up the phone and call us, and we will be there.
All right. Thank you, guys. Keep doing what you guys doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Peace. All right, Stats.
Well, first, I'm glad she got you together about Straw. Secondly, that's very touching, man. Homelessness is an epidemic, and people go through things every day, man. A lot of people one paycheck away from being in those situations, man. Empathy is needed. Obviously, finances are needed, but just time. Me and Stretch gonna help any way we can. So you watch it, man. Y'all help too, please.
And again, I shared her email and website. It's on the page. Posted about it as well earlier today. So please make sure you guys reach out. If you're interested in volunteering or donating to support the cause, please don't hesitate to do it. Again, like she said, don't be motivated What you say? Stats. It was the bar.
Don't
That you
be
said.
moved by the movie, be moved to act.
Correct.
That's a bar.
Be moved to act. That is a bar. And
That's
look,
a
we
bar.
gotta act. We gotta act. It's time to act. It is time to act. Oh, man. All right, here we go. NBA final action as we try to turn the page.
Yeah, you can't really segue from that, but
yeah. OKC. They won the 2024-2025 NBA championship. The finals MVP was SGA. Stats. A lot of people discrediting this this championship, man. Hey, what's going on here?
I mean, listen, man, and we're gonna talk about the ring culture stuff later. We're just in an era of discrediting everything, whether you don't like it, you don't like the team, you don't like SGA, you don't like any of the other players, discrediting it because of injury. Like, people are always doing that kind of thing, and it's really dumb. Like, you could really discredit every NBA title because of some circumstance that happened. OKC's worthy champ, small market champ. That's what people have claimed that they wanted. They wanted a small market team to win it. Homegrown. SGA's not homegrown. He was traded there, but Jalen Williams was drafted. Chet was drafted. Dagnall was in there. Jay Will, Dagnall, the coach, who's a great coach, was in there. G League system.
Almost the entire bench. Lou Dort, all them jokers was there.
All of them are homegrown, and they're young. And you would think that this is the team that you want to win a title. I'm happy for them, obviously. Obviously, the Pacers were a great story. They were more than just a great story. They balled out.
They did.
And shout out to Tyrese Haliburton, man. Unfortunately, he had the Achilles injury. He missed the next season, but him, Pascal Siakam, Rick Carlisle, they put up a great fight. Their defense held OKC's offense down. It was just OKC's defense that was too much. Like, one of the best defenses in NBA history, regular season and post. So, congrats to the Thunder.
I'm gonna say this. Congrats to the Thunder. Because they are historic as far as games won and having their defense and all that other stuff.
Their defense was
they're
legit.
Truly one of the best teams. Yeah, they're truly one of the best in NBA history.
Yeah.
I will say this though.
Okay.
And I know it might be a stretch, but I'm gonna say this: if Tyrese Haliburton don't go down, I actually saw OKC losing. I saw it early as he came out. He was on fire. He was playing with a certain pop, a certain aggressiveness, and he was controlling the game early. He was controlling the game to a point where I said, man, they can't speed him up. He's playing at his own pace, and this is very, very bad for OKC. And it's the same type of flair and poise is probably the word I'm looking for that he displayed in Game 6 and also Game 1 when they stole home court advantage from OKC. Like, I said, man, if he's going to play like this, they didn't have no answer for him. They didn't have an answer. They did not have an answer. But we'll never know. We'll never know. And again, OKC is truly deserving. But let's jump into this discrediting stuff, man. People was even talking about the size of their parade. Like, people was mentioning the Cavaliers parade was like 1.3 million. The Warriors parade was like 800,000. They said okay, only had barely over 10,000 people at the parade. That's what's wrong with people, man.
I mean, again, social media has amplified everybody having an opinion, and unfortunately, you have a lot of jealous and bitter people online. So they're going to find any reason to, and again, it's all engagement farming and engagement baiting. You start talking about stuff that's negative, you get a lot of likes and views and all of those kind of things. So that's just that. OKC is a small city. They're not going to have a lot of people there. That's just how that goes. That doesn't diminish the title for me in any, because if we had a team here, I'm not going to a championship parade, but I'll be happy for them. Absolutely. I just think
It was
again, people are looking to engagement bait and engagement farm, and that's all that was. Cleveland is a big city, despite the fact being a small NBA market, and Cleveland had LeBron
right. It's a
and
big city.
Kyrie. So I mean that, and it was a super historic title coming back from 3-1. You know what I mean? So it's a lot that goes into that too.
It had a little bit more pop to it,
Yeah. But I mean, again, a lot of that, honestly, Stretch, if we're being honest, the media, certain members of the NBA media, whether they're official or not, have spent all finals talking about how it's bad for the NBA to have a small market team in there, 2 small market teams. And because people are sheep, they're not going to feel like celebrating because people who they watch basically tell them not to.
Yeah, I felt like they tried to crap on this series the whole time.
They did.
Leading up to it, I felt like they tried to crap on it, and that was horrible.
Yep.
Now that SGA has won, he won the scoring title, he won the MVP, he won the Finals MVP, and they won the championship. He's completed the 4 or whatever. That's only been done in history 2 other times by 2 other people. Excuse me.
Well,
and
he actually didn't get the conference finals MVP too, which nobody else done because they just came up with that award. So he's the only one to do that, right?
So he's the only one to do that. But as far as those other awards, he's one of 2 other people to have done it. One is who's one?
Michael Jordan.
Who did it 4 times.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. That is insane.
That is crazy.
That's crazy.
That's nuts. Yeah, that's nuts. But again, SGA is an elite company. So that brings me to the postseason player rankings. Is SGA the best player in the world?
Is he a better basketball player than Jokic? No, I don't think so. But
I think he is for right now.
But I mean, it's hard to argue with him. I mean, he didn't have the best offensive series, but
no, 30 is 30 though. He averaged 30. His numbers were jacked up, but he averaged 30.
Yeah. It's tough. It honestly, bro, it's really tough, man. What I'm looking for is the numbers now. Listen, man, SGA has a great argument. I'll say that. He has a great argument. He has a great argument to be number 1. He really does. And and again, it really depends on how you're viewing that. Like, is it because he's the champion? Is it because he played well and they're the champion? Like, what's the criteria there? But he has a great argument for it. He really does. I don't judge people off accolades. I think, that's whatever to me. But he played great on defense. He's an underrated defender. So, he got a great argument for a Stretch.
That's all I'm saying, bro. Like, and for real, based on the last time that I saw, based on the last time I saw Joker, I mean, he was struggling a little bit out there, man. Caruso was put him on in the seatbelt.
Well, to be fair, Caruso was not fouling the hell out of him, but they're not fouls if they're not called. So,
I'm glad you said that, because and some guy done NBA, the officials, you might be a fraud alert, because you allow these guys, Caruso, Lou Dort, Jay Will, all of these guys, these wing,
you're playing a different sport on defense,
to beat the living hell out of these other guards, these guys. But on the flip side, if you bump SGA, he's at the line every time. Hey, look, I mean, I love a good aggressive defense. I preach that, John. Like, make them call it, and they're not gonna call all of it. They can't call all of it. It ain't possible. So get up, you know what I'm saying? Be physical, get handsy, and let's see what happens. If we all foul
Suns,
out, we all foul
Suns
out.
just got Mark Williams, by the way. That just came across. Suns just got Mark Williams.
The Suns?
Yeah. Yes.
For who?
Was the first rounder. In 29th pick in the first rounder in 2029. But go ahead. Yo, I'm that face you made was crazy, bro. I'm really about to but go ahead. What were you saying now?
I'm done. I'm done. NBA draft.
But shout out to the Thunder, man. They're a worthy champion, despite what others may say.
Yeah, I agree. Cooper Flag goes number 1. Dylan Harper number 2. Any surprises or anything
You
like
surprised
that? But
me.
also,
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say you surprised
You
Ace went to 5.
Am I surprised? What now?
Ace Bailey went 5th.
No, I saw him slipping. I saw that. Like the more and more people were speaking about his game and how he was scoring and where his shots were coming from, and then they was talking about his measurables and how he performed in the combine. I figured he was gonna slide, but he's 6'9", 6'10". You know, you gotta kind of give him a chance. But I knew he was gonna slide.
I'm more surprised my guy Con Canupa went 4. I love his game. I love his
as
game.
well.
God, I love his game.
And he's at Utah now, right? That's Utah's pick, right?
No. Ace Bailey went to Utah. Canupa went to Charlotte.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I don't know about. Look, I know how you not a fan of LaMelo, and I'm kind of with you on that. I don't like the play style. I don't necessarily think that play style is conducive to winning.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know.
You don't like him in Charlotte?
I don't like him in Charlotte, man, because you already got the boy Brandon. You know what I'm saying? You got him and LaMelo, and you got the guy who like to beat up on women.
Yeah, Miles Bridges.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna work. How you feel about BJ Edgecombe going to Philly? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was hoping that the Wizards were gonna get Ace Bailey, so I got a reason to go watch one of them sorry ass Wizard games. But they didn't.
That team is awful. that team is awful. My God. Jeremiah Fears went to the Pelicans. Trey Johnson went to the Wizards.
Yeah. I mean, Trey Johnson's not bad, but
you like him?
He ain't Ace Bailey.
Mala went to the Rockets. I kind of like that for them.
I like that. Yeah, they need one of those guys over there.
Yeah. Igor Domain.
I wish the Rockets had a better point guard, but
they just extended Fred 2 years, $50 million.
I feel like that's a horrible decision. I feel like that is a horrible decision.
I don't know that
speaking
price
of trade,
is about the average price for a point guard, but I feel you though.
Yeah, I get it. That's the average price, but I don't like Fred VanVleet over there. Now that we can see the direction that you're going. You're trying to win right now. Fred VanVleet is not the point guard you need if you're trying to win right now. And I mean, he did play well in the playoffs. Like, don't get me wrong, he played well in most of the games in the playoffs, but there were some other games he was a complete no-show.
The his scoring has cratered, man. He can't shoot. He can't score inside the 3-point line, bro. That's a
Yeah,
problem. He is a great playmaker, a good playmaker, and he
good. I
rarely
won't say
turns the
great.
ball over. I mean, his
Right.
turnover is. I mean, that matters. So
Yeah. I saw something that said that they should have made a run at Harden, bringing him back to Houston. I actually like it.
I don't dislike it. I do like it, but Clippers not going to do that.
But he's entering the last year of his deal.
Oh yeah.
And you see what I'm saying? Like, they could have did it. It was there.
I think Ime Udoka doesn't really like James Harden. I don't want to say he doesn't like him, the play style.
His play style doesn't fit. Yeah, his play style doesn't fit.
But in addition to that, they're trying to build an identity. And I don't necessarily think Harden fits that identity.
But Kevin Durant don't fit it either.
Yeah, that's true. But I agree with you. But
yeah.
I mean, so you gave up Dylan Brooks and what, the 10th pick?
Yeah.
Or pick, and you get look.
And you got
I think a discussion.
I
think a discussion needs to be had about Kevin Durant's impact on winning at this stage of his career. But I think that he's really going to help them, and they didn't have to give up much to get him.
Yeah, Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, their first round pick this year, and like maybe 2 second rounds or 3 second rounds, something like that.
It was 5, but it was 5. But again, for me, you get Kevin Durant, you slot him in at the 4, Amen at the 3. You're gonna have to bring Tyrese.
Well, I saw it differently. I saw KD at the 3, Amen at the 2, Fred at the 1, and Jabari Smith at the 4.
Okay.
With Sengun.
Okay. Still not a fan of that offense, though. Ime is not a good offensive coach. But
when you got a superpower like Kevin Durant, that's there. Like that's what he's there for.
Sure, but even legendary scorers need space to score. They're not going to guard any of those dudes in the playoffs.
But the only one they're not going to guard is Amen.
They're not going to guard. I mean, they'll guard Fred, but bro, like Fred's 5'11". Like you don't have to closing out to him is just going to make him put the ball.
You don't have to overly hug him. But Fred can shoot it though.
He can shoot. He can, and he will shoot it. So he does have respect from defenses. So that's true.
Yeah, and Jabari can also shoot it.
He can shoot too. Where you think they end up in the West before we move on?
West Finals.
Okay, I don't have them that high, but okay.
Okay, I say West Finals, top 3 seed in the West. I mean, they were a 2 seed this year and lost, but I think they're a top 3 seed in the West, and they get to the West Finals and probably lose, but they can win 2 series.
Okay,
if healthy, they can win 2 series.
Okay.
The other noteworthy, there was a couple of noteworthy NBA trades that happened over the past couple of days. Drew Holiday is now a Blazer, and he hates it. And he hates it. He's a Blazer.
Yeah.
And for what was it, Anthony Simons?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Anthony Simons. So, how you feel about that trade? Oh, and also Boston Celtics got rid of Kristaps Porzingis and sent him to Atlanta.
Yeah,
they basically dumped a ton of money got underneath the apron
in 10 days.
In 10 days, correct. Brad Stevens is working on phones, man.
Yep. I think Drew's declining, and we saw that this year. I could understand him not wanting to be in a situation where they're not really playing for anything. Although Portland's defense was 5th after the All-Star break, I'm always kind of leery about that when you don't really – I mean, teams aren't necessarily playing their best guys. You're calling up guys up from the G League or whatever. I mean, look, they got
Is
some
Chauncey
defense.
still their coach?
Yes. You got some defensive studs. If he does stay, he could help mentor Scoot.
Scoot actually had a decent year.
Yeah, he got better towards the end of the season. Helped Shaden Sharp, but they got to start getting it together. Ayton kind of, did some different things. His motor's still way too inconsistent for me. I ain't.
Yeah.
Tamani Kamara. Yeah, Tamani Kamara took a huge leap forward as a defender. He was on the Suns, and now on the Blazers. He was I think he actually made the all defensive team. How
you feel about Clinton?
About who?
Klingon.
I like him a lot, but I think offensively he's going to struggle to score. He shot like 50% on layups last year.
Yeah. He likes athleticism.
Yeah, I mean, bro, he wears he's a rookie, and did you see the big ass knee brace on his knee? But on defense, as a rim protector, he's already really good. So, I just, but Drew probably wants to get out of there. Simons, I'm not a real big fan of him. But he can score, he can shoot. Be interesting to see the direction that Boston goes with Tatum out next year. There have been rumblings of them trading Jaylen Brown.
I heard that.
I actually think they should get out from under that contract.
I agree. I mean, because everybody knows what this year is.
Yeah, I would try to.
Everybody knows what this year is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and stink it up and get you a top 5 pick to come on in with JT. Go get you a top 5 pick and stink it up. Yeah, stink it up.
But I figure they got to have a plan, though. Now, Porzingis to Atlanta, I like that stretch, but okay. The Twitter
play. Somebody said the Jumper had. Somebody was saying he had AIDS.
He had AIDS. I don't think it was AIDS. I think he has long COVID. And I think the symptoms were pretty close to long COVID. I'm not going to put AIDS on that man. Pause. But
that's what they said. Now you heard it too. Now I wasn't the only one that heard it. You heard it too.
I definitely heard it. I did, but I think it was long COVID. I mean, if he's healthy, that's a game changer for Atlanta. You got your center.
Yeah.
You got your backup in the Kongwu, so Capella can go get something for that. Trey, Dyson Daniels, first team all defense, deserving.
Yeah.
And Jalen Johnson. They got a nice little starting lineup down there.
Yeah. Yeah. And they got a nice pieces for a bench as well. They got some nice pieces for a bench. And with room to get better.
Yeah. And with the East theoretically going to be down because Dame, Tatum, and Holly not going to be there. Hawks in the conference finals?
Possibly. Look, you got the Knicks. You got the Knicks.
And you got the Cavs.
And you got the Cavs. All you got to do is beat one of them. Well, you got the Pacers. For the Pacers, and they're not going to be the same.
No, they're not.
But King of the Seven stats. This is what we're experiencing in the playoffs, right?
This is depressing to look at. This is very depressing.
And they all wore number 0 stats.
Yeah. Yeah.
What? Here's the question, because I think this question needs to be had. Cooper Flag is the 2025 Greg Oden. That's wow. That's nuts.
That's insane.
But here's the question stats. What can be done about this? This year, all-time high. The previous high was 5 in 2014. It more than doubled in 2025, 24-25 season. Achilles going out. And we saw 3 top, regardless of how you feel about Haliburton, 3, let's say, top 25 guys.
Yep.
They're now out of the NBA for the entire year, some change. Does the NBA have a problem?
They do. And I don't know if the NBA has generally been a progressive league, but I don't know if they have the progressive mindset to make the change that's needed, and they got to shorten the season.
And many of you have definitely said that season shortage. Well, you definitely, and I stand firm. They're going to play 82 games because even though your biggest asset is superstar players, what trumps that is money, and people going to see these games. Like, people are going to see these games with all the load management, people were still going to see the games. So with the NBA moving to NBC, back to NBC and Peacock or whatever you want to call them now, and Amazon, all the TV deals, Amazon Prime and all these TV deals that are in place, they are going to play 82 games. I assure you of this. I can guarantee it. They're going to play 82 games. And with all this money that's being pushed out to these players, they are going to play these games. Do they? And they already stretched the season out as far as they can stretch it.
Yeah.
There's no more stretching you could do. But what is another solution that you can think of? Because these injuries are going to get worse. They're going to get worse. What is another solution?
I don't know of one, actually, because the issue is the recovery time. The recovery time is not quick enough. And you add in the fact that these injuries, I mean, NBA players ran 200 more miles this season than they did even in 2012.
Yeah, so, 200 more miles. Yeah.
Miles.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the game is just too fast. The players and their bodies have not caught up to the speed of the game. And I gave an example. You remember when you had me guarding Dejour in practice and I almost blew my hip out just guarding a basic, just moving.
Yeah.
And he's a semi-professional. Pros move different. Move different. So you have to train your body to keep up with that. And they have to do that repeatedly for 82 games, 30 minutes. You know what I mean? And there's not a lot of recovery time there. Like when you're traveling, it's hard to recover. So, and Tyrese Haliburton had a calf injury. All of them had calf injuries. And that's what leads to the Achilles. Because when the calf is strained, all the brunt pressure and all of that and the force is all going to your Achilles now.
Yep.
You see people talking about
how much of this is due to a lack of not necessarily rest, but a lack of strength training? Because what I also heard was what causes, so when you have an injury, it's not that specific region of your body that is failing you. So if you get a calf injury, it's not the calf, it's not like per se the leg, it's something else that makes the calf have that strain. And what they were saying that it's actually your hip and your butt muscles, like your gluteus, minimus and maximus, as to why you start to develop calf injuries, and then that turns into an Achilles injury. And they said that. Go ahead.
The only thing I'll buy from that is because I believe guys do lift weight. But the only thing I'll buy from that is you're not training, you're not lifting necessarily to get strong because the game is not, it's more movement now. So you're training to hang with the movement, if that makes sense. The game is still physical. The game is still physical as we saw in the playoffs, but it's not as slow paced. So you're probably training your body to keep up with the pace. I mean, you can't train your body for everything. You have anomalies, of course, but you can't train your body for everything. You have to train it for the trends of what the NBA are now. Right now, it's a movement-based league.
I agree to a certain extent, and I think you can do both. When your job is to be a professional athlete, you have that responsibility to do both. Because LeBron doesn't play, he doesn't work on his game per se. Like, he doesn't spend a whole lot of time in the off season on the court. He doesn't do that. He spends a whole lot of time in the weight room. And then he'll dabble on the court.
He's an anomaly. That's why I said.
So take him aside. So let's take him aside. Okay. But most professional athletes who I have encountered that who have Bridges, he's a good one. He's the Iron Man right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Don't miss games. He plays.
He hasn't missed a game in his NBA career. Correct.
But he does the same thing. He does not spend a whole lot of on-court time in the offseason. He lets his body rest from going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. He spends a whole lot of time in the weight room. A lot of time in the weight room and then recovering. So he lifts. He does like the anti-gravity treadmill. And this stuff is on YouTube. Like, his workout regimen and stuff is on YouTube. So if anybody wants to look at it, for those who are training or whatever, I've been looking at it for the past day or so. And it's a lot of heavy, intensive weight room stuff. And then he'll go into the gym. He does some catch and shoot. Because last summer he did transition his jump shot into something else, which he probably needs to do away with. But that's the end there. What he does is a lot of weight room activities. A lot of weight room activities. And we don't see these type of injuries in the college game, which is also, digging in my head a little bit. Like,
but they don't play with they don't play with the force of NBA players, and the court is smaller. They don't play nearly as many games. At most, they play 35, and they're only playing 40 minutes a game.
Yeah. So, but that what you're saying is more evidence to my point that I'm getting ready to make. We have to start transitioning the college game into what the professional game it looks like now. So that 2 halves, 20-minute stuff that they do, I don't think they need to do away with that. And they need to be playing 4 10-minute quarters, like, you know what I'm saying, like overseas, at least overseas. Right. Well, like the hoop league, like we do. But I also think they should play with a 24-second shot clock.
I agree with that. Yeah. College basketball has some abysmal basketball, so I agree. Maybe a solution to the NBA problem is shorten it to 40 minutes a game or 44.
Yeah, that way you still get to keep your 82 games. Just go to 44 or 40.
But honestly, I think that what that'll do is that'll just make the impact of stars higher again, because the stars will just play the same amount of minutes, and guys are out of jobs because if you're going to play your stars the same amount of minutes, you don't need the bench players. So, creating those kind of solutions creates other problems. Shorten the season. Yeah. I'm a diehard NBA fan. Shorten the season.
Well, we can't have that.
Well, obviously not.
Because we need Cleveland versus Sacramento on a Tuesday night. On a back-to-back after they play Golden State.
That's the insane part. But again, Go ahead, man. Go ahead. I don't even want to get on my soapbox.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Speaking of insane.
This is what I've been waiting for. Kobe fans, I'm tired of y'all. I'm tired of y'all. Please play the video. I'm tired of y'all. I'm tired of Kobe fans.
The level of disrespect that is being pushed out.
This is why I'm tired of them right here. This is why.
Against the late Kobe Bean Bryant will not be tolerated on any show. I won't have it. And for this gentleman to go on national TV and say make these blasphemous statements, we need to do a full audit of the NBA Hall of Fame and start removing people like T-Mac. Here's the video.
Place me with Kobe with Shaq. I don't win a championship. You don't think I could carry the Lakers to a championship? Like, I've never had the opportunity.
Correct.
I felt like if I was put in that position to win a championship, I damn sure would show up and do what I do in the playoffs to elevate my team to that level. I just never had the chance. So do I get diminished because I never won a championship?
Right.
That answer is hell yeah. Replace Kobe with who? With you? Are you gonna win? Hell no, you're not gonna win. No, you're not gonna win. Someone can win a championship. T-Mac, can you get out the first round? Can you do that, T-Mac? Come on, do what you do in the playoffs. What you do in the playoffs is lose, sir. That's what you do in the playoffs. Lord have mercy. My God. My God. Woo.
I'm gonna wait for you to finish because
this is what T-Mac had. There you go. And does anybody know what he did with this team? Wet the bed. Wet the bed. Wet the bed. Do you get diminished? Yeah, for not winning, sir. If we had a piss on yourself Olympics, you would have a gold medal. You would have a gold medal, sir. In 12 playoff series appearances, T-Mac led teams have only won 3 and lost 9. Replace Kobe with who? Replace Kobe with who? Tracy McGrady in the playoffs averaged 22 points a game. Replace Kobe with who? Oh my God. Replace Kobe with who? Oh man. That joker don't do nothing good but wet the bed, brother. Wet the bed. You hear me? Oh. Yeah, man. Go ahead, Stat. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. I'll go through it. In the year 2000, that that you was talking about stats where T-Mac was good enough, averaged 28. This is what he did in the first round of the playoffs. Okay? Against Milwaukee. 25, 42, 35, 33. Field goal percentage. He shot 41%. Listen, brother. 12 for 34 in a closeout game. A loss. This your boy. He was oh, Lord have mercy. Negative 15. Replace Kobe with who? hear this blasphemous. Go ahead.
So as you can see, and thank you if you're still watching. I can't see any comments if y'all are commenting. So
ain't nobody need to comment. Ain't no need. Ain't need to make no comments. Replace Tracy with who?
I think that as usual, these conversations have to have a level of nuance to them.
Oh, boy.
And I'll bring the nuance that obviously Stretch Bryant's not gonna bring.
2002, lost to the Charlotte Hornets in the first round. Minus 16 in the game one. In the first round? Go ahead, Stat. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I'll just say this. I think the conversation people conflate things. First of all, there is a difference between T-Mac and Kobe Bryant's career and T-Mac and Kobe Bryant at their peaks. So I think the problem is people conflate career and peak. Yes, Tracy McGrady's career is not close to Kobe Bryant's. But the best version of Tracy McGrady, I do think they would have won one title. And I think they would have won the title where they went 16-1 and beat the Sixers because that team was killing everybody. However, the 2000 team where they went to 7 against the Kings in 2002 when they went to 7 against the Blazers, or I got the years mixed up. 2000 was Blazers, 2002 was the Kings. I don't know if they win because, as you mentioned, Tracy McGrady's his efficiency in the playoffs, the scoring efficiency drops. And in a game 7, you need all the
water 2002. First round loss to Detroit. Down, he was up 3-1, by the way. Up 3-1 and lost. In the game 7, in a closeout, he played 45 minutes, 21 points. He was 7 of 24.
Yeah.
Minus 18.
I think a story needs to be told. I don't think McGrady was efficient enough to be in a role that he was in. He wasn't. And I think he had some bad situations too. Multiple things can be true, but I do think they would have won one. The 0-1 title against the Sixers, I think they would have won that. I do.
Sure.
But
maybe.
Look, Kobe Bryant is a legend, and he's not a guy that you could just easily put another guy in and just replace. And
I'm sick of it. T-Mac he didn't keep Kobe Bryant out his damn mouth.
And at that point of his career, Kobe Bryant was actually playing defense. He was actually a great defensive guard at that point.
He was a supporting cast member and a damn good one.
Yeah, he was.
And a damn good one.
He was.
T-Mac need to shut his damn mouth, and you keep that name out of it. Same thing with you, D-Wade. D-Wade. You got bigger fish to fry.
Stop.
Your son
Stop. We can get to D-Wade's comments, but I do think Kobe Bryant's obviously not easily replaced, and I think people forget. Kobe did have some bad series then, but every superstar has had bad series, right? So that's not a knock on Kobe per se, but Kobe also had some legendary series during that year, and he had a gear that Tracy McGrady couldn't get to. And I like I said, I think they went 0-1, but I don't think they win the other two. Those went to game 7s.
And he damn sure ain't winning in 09 and 10.
No.
I know that for damn sure. Because T-Mac could barely get a job.
Well, no.
Towards the end of his career. Okay. He could barely get a job. Okay. He got traded to San Antonio for cash considerations and Steven Jackson and a Louis bag. Okay. That's what he got traded for. All right. You didn't shut your damn mouth, T-Mac.
But I think his point highlighted that situations matter. His career would look different if he had a title.
Well, guess
Which,
what? You had
which,
chances.
which is the entire point. And
He
he's
had
right
chances.
about that.
He had chances, and he didn't get it done. He didn't get it done.
Did he really have a chance, though?
Hey, you pushed your way to Houston. You wanted to play with Yap. That was him. He did that.
Well, that was a trade for Steve Francis. Now, I don't remember him asking to be traded. It's possibly did, but yeah, I mean, T-Mac was unlucky and he just wasn't good enough. His scoring efficiency wasn't there.
There we go. That's what needs to be. He was not good enough. And now we will move on to other people who aren't good enough. NBA Hall of Fame audit. Let's start with T-Mac. Goodbye, sir. Goodbye, sir. You have been audited. Your career is now under review, and you, sir, are no longer eligible to be in the NBA Hall of Fame. You, sir, have to go. Stats, who would you like to audit? I think Stats is frozen on us, ladies and gentlemen. God damn, Stats. Stats. Well, he's frozen. So that means now I can go on my tirade. Who else needs to be audited? Vince Carter. You, sir, belong on the N1 Hoop mixtape. You're not good enough to be in the NBA Hall of Fame, sir. You, sir, have been audited. I don't know who the hell Stats is going to mention. He's probably going to mention somebody crazy, knowing him, like James Worthy or some mess like that. But that's Stats crap. All right. Speaking of crap, like his internet, for those who didn't know, P. Diddy has some of his sex trafficking charges are now being dropped, and now they're done. And some people saying he might get off. Some people are saying he won't serve another day in jail. So I don't know. I don't know. Did he? That thing is messy, and I don't think the prosecution did a great job of really selling and telling the jurors that he's a menace, and they didn't do a good job of that. And the defense poked holes in a lot of the witnesses' testimonies and just statements in general about the things that he was doing or was not doing and where he was at. And it's hard to prove some of these things, man. But I think the prosecution did a horrible job of trying to prove that he was this horrible criminal, and I think he is a horrible criminal, by the way. But you got to prove that stuff here in the U.S. of A. You got to prove that type of stuff. So I don't know where the hell Stats is at, but I'll move on to my final thoughts. So, if we've learned nothing else from the great Mrs. Dreher of Dreams of Hope Foundation, don't be moved. Don't be moved by the movie. Move to act. And I honestly could say that, number one, that I may have been on the wrong side of the movie Straw and the over dramatization that Tyler Perry did in his script. Were some of those scenes in that movie just far-fetched? Yes, to me, in my opinion. But do those things happen on a daily basis? Yes, they do, on a daily basis. And I still have an axe to grind with Tyler Perry because I do feel like he's taking advantage of these stories, and he's not providing the solutions that we need to get out of this hole. Like, once you see things always being shoved in your face via the media, whether it's music or movies or TV shows, that becomes your only perception, your only view, and then that in turn becomes your reality. So instead of fighting your way out of that reality, you start to justify that reality. And something hit me when we had our interview with Mrs. Dreher about how she had to make a decision to quit her job or get out of school to receive assistance from the government because she was over the threshold. She was over their qualifications. And that's how so many people get stuck in that stage, in that part of life. You don't want to lose that support because, number one, it's so hard to get it. So once you finally get it, you don't want to lose it, even though losing it might be the best thing for you. And losing it is scary for a lot of Americans out here because it's so hard. People are living paycheck to paycheck. People are barely surviving. People are barely getting by. And it's hard out here. It is hard out here, especially in times of the summer and the winter. This heat ain't no joke, man. Like, so your AC, your electric bill is going through the roof. The kids are at home all the time, so they're eating up all your groceries, all your food. It's hard. So I do want to say that I sympathize and empathize both with the people who identify with that movie strong and who are in those situations. And, we need to start working together to come up with solutions to help one another. Because if you haven't watched the news lately, all of the stuff, the back and forth between Israel and Iran, and, we attacked Iran and Iran tried to send some missiles back at one of our bases. We intercepted them. But, hey, look, USA ain't untouchable. And we live in this la-la land like we're untouchable. We're not untouchable. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, we just need to be better. We need to be better. We need to be more compassionate for one another. And we need to start showing a lot more love to one another. So those are my final thoughts. And, I hope everyone who is interested in assisting and trying, who can help, please, the email is on my page. The donation link is on my page. Please reach out. Please donate. Please be a part of the solution. Yeah, and those are my final thoughts, man. We had a dating segment, but I'm not dating. I'm married. So Stats had a dating segment in this wild life. But coming up, we have a lot of guests that are on tap for us this summer. We have Edward Huckabee, the GM of the Virginia Neptunes. He's going to be talking about the professional combine that's coming up July 26th. There it is right there, the Virginia Neptunes basketball pro combine. So we'll have him on soon to talk about that. We also will have Coach AJ Hamilton on, talk about his journey of being the head coach at Heritage Girls, talking about starting a new culture, and the list goes on and on. Also, we will have the new assistant principal at Kickerton High School, Mr. Lou Radford, who also was one of the participants in this year's Brotherhood Hoop League, where he participated last year as well. He was the finals MVP. So a whole lot is on tap for the coming weeks and months. Also, before I get out of here, this Sunday, we will have a special episode where we start to take nominations for the top 25 point guards in the Peninsula District from the year 2000 up to current. So the top 25 of the last 25 is what we're calling it in the PD. So for Statman, who's probably on Boo Boo Wireless, Internet, and myself, I'm Coach Stretch. Before I get out of here, also want to say congratulations to my baby girls. Look at them girls, man. They hooped. Last weekend, they won the Boo Williams Invitational for the 17U division at Team Relentless, coached by Coach Pollard and Coach Hamilton. And also shout out to Warwick High School girls. They went to JMU and participated in the JMU team camp. Big shout out to them as well. And this weekend, we have 8, maybe 9. 8. We have 8 teams. 8 teams will be participating in Virginia Beach this weekend. We are sending 6 teams to the EBC Championships at the Virginia Beach Sports Center. And we are sending 2 teams to the Virginia Beach Fieldhouse. So if you're in Virginia Beach, make sure you come out and support us. We will be there all weekend. So again, for Coach Stats, Statman AJT, I'm Coach Stretch. Stay relentless in all that you do, ladies and gentlemen. And we will see you again next week. Peace.
You can shake up the scene, you ain't getting streams. I make it look good, yeah, I make it look easy. I let it be, I'm a better me. I don't really care, been like this for years. Cause I don't really, never did, never will. Ever let you get inside the whip. Catch us hitting sideways, sliding around with a drip for that mango. Tangos couldn't get a pick. I be quick, I be slick when I push for a whip. I be zoning with my shit.